She's #1 at being dumb, the new face of the DNC. Gather round, cause that's our Jazzy.
Jasmine Crockett's got another hot take. No blacks and whites on a wedding cake. The Democrats' new chosen one, Jasmine Crockett, is in the news again for an old clip where she attacked Florida Rep. Byron Donalds for marrying a white woman.
Crockett walked in with the confidence of a headline-hungry influencer. But what she got was a one-way ticket to political destruction. Gutfeld didn't flinch. He fired back with venom-laced precision, dismantling her every word. The audience didn't just laugh, they roared. It wasn't polite chuckles, it was eruption-level entertainment. And when social media caught wind, it detonated like fireworks on the 4th of July. She thought she was stepping into a controlled environment, maybe even expecting applause. Instead, she got incinerated, live, unscripted, and unforgettable. Crockett threw out the wild claim,
Or literally, it's because you married a white woman and so you think that that whitewashed you.
That's not very woke, is it? Of course, Crockett isn't the only Democrat who's opposed to interracial marriage, or else more Democrats would have voted for this one. Racist!
"You married a white woman, so you think that whitewashed you?" Say what? Even her own party looked stunned. That's not progressive. It's regressive. Gutfeld wasn't about to let it slide. He turned every one of her lines into a punchline, exposing the dangerous hypocrisy brewing beneath her woke branding. It was brutal, but honest. Let's be real. Crockett isn't known for deep policy work. She's known for dramatic pauses, viral sound bites, and enough buzzwords to fill a TikTok playlist. She treats every microphone like a stage, and every committee hearing like a soap opera audition. But Gutfeld doesn't do theatrics.
Plantation.
Tyrus, I go to you for no particular reason. Is she making any point there?
Like this makes me wish my mom made different father choices. Because we all get sucked into this. Like, this is. If you're going to talk about black history, at least know it. This is. At least know it, okay?
He shuts them down with savage, sarcastic precision. He wasn't playing defense. He went straight for the jugular. With a smirk that screamed, "I see right through you," he tore apart her Act One exaggerated gesture at a time. No political armor, no policy backup, just a storm of performance. And Gutfeld burned it all to the ground with ruthless ease. She brought feathers to a flamethrower fight. And the result? A public humiliation so intense it could be taught in political science courses.
But it goes back to, that was 45 seconds of some of the, like, Kamala, you good right now. That was some of the dumbest I ever heard in my life. Here's the thing. This goes back to what we talked about earlier. They never have a solution. Just listen to your dumbass talk. You want to talk about agriculture? Why don't you fix the lottery? Why don't you make it easier for people who want to come into this country to work in agriculture and equitation and factories? Get rid of the lottery. Open it up. Talk to the president. Hey, we got a plan. We want to make it easier for people who can vet and come in and work in this country. Come up with an idea. Besides, any of y'all want to pick cotton? We're like, we're in suits in the middle of the Midwest. Why would we pick cotton? It's like the extreme stupidness of what she speaks. I'm so angry right now. And
every time she opened her mouth, he had a zinger locked and loaded. There were no survivors, only stunned silence and uncontrollable laughter. Even co-host Tyrus couldn't hold back. He flat out asked if she was even making a point. Spoiler alert, she wasn't. The crowd knew it, and so did the panel. One commentator said it felt like listening to the dumbest 45 seconds of their entire life. And honestly, They weren't wrong. Gutfeld and his crew didn't just call her out, they exposed her. They demanded real answers, real ideas. Not just buzzwords and blame games. They grilled her about agriculture policy, real stuff. Instead,
she's so rotten, she wants migrants picking cotton. We present to you Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who made this shocking argument why America needs immigrants. Roll it, Alfred.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands.
When the wheels fall off.
You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
she deflected with historic bitterness and empty theatrics. Who's picking cotton in 2025? Who's buying this nonsense? She wasn't ready. She wasn't prepared. And she definitely wasn't capable of standing her ground. Her message crumbled like a stale cookie in the rain. And while she flailed around trying to sound passionate, Gutfeld remained cool, sharp, and deadly accurate, like a sniper with a smirk. He wasn't yelling. He wasn't flustered. He was focused, like a teacher handing out hard truths to a failing student. Jasmine Crockett may have brought her signature attitude, but Gutfeld brought facts, fire, and a microphone. She expected applause. What she got was annihilation on live TV. It wasn't just embarrassing. It was historic. Crockett thought she was giving a TED Talk on injustice. What she gave was a masterclass in how to crash and burn in under 5 minutes. Let's talk about her record. Oh, wait. What record? Gutfeld made it clear. She's not passing bills, she's passing blame. Viral moments? Plenty. Real accomplishments? Zero. Crockett didn't come to lead. She came to trend.
Kilmeade, she's getting to be the face of that party.
I know, thanks to your show.
Yeah.
I don't know what's more popular, this or The View on Gutfeld. But a couple of things. Did you see, at first I thought she was doing it for comedic purposes, but you watch back, nobody had a response. They didn't know what the hell she was talking about. And she's like, oh, really? Farming? Yes, it's called eating, farming. America's got the best farmers in the world. There's glory in doing it. People do it, and the people don't do it by hand anymore. This isn't 1820. So I was just stunned by what she's saying. But the weird thing is, she probably left that room thinking she knocked it out of the park. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that anyone can stop her from being the face of the party, except Bernie Sanders, who's 111 years old, talking about oligarchs.
She's turned politics into a performance art, with every meltdown perfectly timed for the cameras. But Gutfeld doesn't do staged drama. He tears it apart, like wrapping paper at a roast. One-liners flew. The studio echoed with gasps and laughter. Crockett looked stunned, like she wandered into a lion's cage thinking it was open mic night. And then came the kicker: plantation politics. Crockett boldly declared that immigrants are needed to pick crops because ain't none of y'all trying to farm. Excuse me? She said it. She doubled down on a fantasy that Americans, black or white, shouldn't farm, shouldn't labor, and that immigrants should fill in the gap. It wasn't just tone deaf. It was insulting. Gutfeld's panel nearly lost it. Tyrus said it best. Is she making any point at all? The answer was crystal clear. No. She wasn't. This wasn't about farming. This wasn't about immigration. It was about playing a character. And Gutfeld was the first to call it out. To Jasmine, every camera is a spotlight. Every sentence a performance. But this time, the crowd wasn't clapping. They were cringing.
Do you have an opinion on this? Or should I move on to somebody?
No, I just... It has to come from me.
Yes.
Okay. None of y'all are qualified. not just for one thing. I'm mad at Charmaine the guy because he should have kicked her out. See, the problem is that we are allowing our own culture to be openly racist and get away with it. Now, if a white person is offended by that, and they should be, they say something, it's like it's not the same thing. But if you say that, and another brother looks at you and goes, "Man, you wrong for that, and I don't want you on my show. Get the hell out." Because I'm telling you right now, if I was not on the show, which happens sometimes, and someone was sitting in his chair and he was complaining about black men this and black that, and they shouldn't be here, and you know what happens when a white woman marries a black guy, you would not have seen that guy in the next segment. He would have kicked his ass off, because you're not going to talk about somebody that I care about like that, or another person like that. That's the problem.
Even her defenders looked confused. The applause she expected never came. It was like she lit fireworks in a library, loud, chaotic, and completely inappropriate. Then came the final insult. Crockett claimed she was educating people. On what exactly? On how to blow up your credibility in under 60 seconds. She shouted. She spun. She pointed fingers. But in the end, she had no facts, no plan, and no leg to stand on. Just noise. Gutfeld didn't just clap back. He erased her entire performance with cold, clean, sarcastic precision. Every gesture, mocked. Every buzzword, dismantled. She walked in thinking this was a rally, but Gutfeld turned it into a courtroom, and the verdict wasn't pretty. Her arguments weren't just weak, they were empty. A hollow shell of activism with no substance, no depth, and no vision. This wasn't politics. This was theater. The lights, the angles, the slogans, everything but a plan. And Gutfeld torched it all. He stripped the act bare. He pointed at the holes. And he exposed a brutal truth. Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah, all right, stop it! Although I must say you have great taste. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Oh, man. Okay.
Is playing the part of a leader, but delivering the results of a loud TikTok commenter. She isn't rising because of her achievements. She's rising because of her volume. And volume, Gutfeld reminded us, isn't value. Every dramatic gasp, every angry stare. It was all so rehearsed, and Gutfeld wasn't falling for it. He called it out in real time. She tried to play the victim. But this wasn't bullying. It was accountability. And when you sign up for public office, you don't get to hide behind hashtags when your words blow up. And blow up they did. One clip showed Gutfeld towering over Crockett, the caption reading, "Sit down and learn something." That wasn't a joke. It was a public warning. Even Crockett's allies were stunned. The silence from her corner spoke louder than anything she had said all night. She wasn't pulled into the spotlight. She ran toward it, mic in hand, hair done, sound bites rehearsed. And then, boom, reality struck. She strutted into that arena thinking she'd win the crowd. Instead, she face-planted into a wall of hard truth. Gutfeld wasn't just sarcastic. He was surgical.
Jesse, they called Musk a Nazi, and next thing you know, you got swastikas on cars. They called Trump Hitler and a Nazi and a fascist, and he got shot. So I don't really ever see that happening on the Republican side when we make fun of Democrats. It's also about the supporters. It's not just the leaders. It seems like Democrats are easily programmed to do bad things.
Yes, they are. They're very easily programmed, Greg.
I made you say that.
Like a cold breeze slicing through fog, he cleared the air in seconds. And what did he reveal? A brand, not a leader. An act, not a thinker. A politician more concerned with applause than action. He didn't need to scream. He didn't need to insult. He just pointed out what was already there and let the facts do the screaming. The moment she tried to deflect blame, the panel pounced. "Where's your solution?" they asked. What's your plan? Silence. And that silence, deafening. It echoed through the studio and across the internet. A political implosion, broadcast in real time. Even those who supported her knew this was bad. One glance at their faces, and you could see it. Regret. You don't get to attack someone's marriage and then cry foul when the spotlight burns. You wanted attention, Jasmine? You got it. The panel kept going. They didn't just stop at her statement, they dove into her history. Old tweets, old interviews, all dripping with contradiction. She'd made comments mocking Governor Abbott's wheelchair before. But now, when pressed, she acted innocent.
First, they cursed, now they thirst for blood. Jasmine Crockett is upping her temper tantrums, now saying the only way Democrats can win elections is by throwing hands.
I think you punch. I think you're okay with you okay with punching. It's Ted Cruz. I mean, like, this dude has to be knocked over the head, like, hard, right?
Oh, I didn't mean that. Really. The receipts were right there. Posts, likes, captions mocking his disability. And yet, she claimed clean hands? Gutfeld wasn't buying it, and neither was the audience. Her supporters rushed to clean up the mess, typing threads, spinning narratives, and calling anyone who criticized her a bigot. But Gutfeld wasn't backing down. He stood firm, holding the mirror right up to her face. And it wasn't a flattering reflection. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't a slip of the tongue. It was a carefully crafted persona collapsing under its own weight. The jig was up, and America was watching. She thought this moment would boost her career. Instead, it became a cautionary tale. Exhibit A in how to ruin your own credibility with one reckless outburst after another. Gutfeld didn't mock her identity. He mocked her antics. He tore through her hypocrisy with wit, facts, and just the right amount of cold sarcasm to leave the audience gasping. The crowd didn't boo. They didn't cheer wildly either. They just stared, shocked, watching Crockett's act unravel like a cheap costume on live television. Her signature outrage? Fake? Her moral authority? Shattered. Gutfeld called it what it was, a performance.
Now, she claims that she wasn't talking about Abbott's wheelchair at all. Yet she's mentioned Abbott's wheels before. In 2022, she posted Beto's rolling around the state. Where's Abbott rolling to? And according to the Washington Free Beacon, Crockett also liked several Facebook comments referring to Abbott as Hot Wheels back in 2020.
And once that curtain fell, there was nothing left but silence. Every single dramatic pause, every choreographed frown, every slogan burned away under the heat of Gutfeld's truth bombs. She came in swinging. But by the time Gutfeld was done, she looked like a politician who'd stepped into a boxing ring with no gloves, no plan, and no backup. She tried to shift blame, invoke race, distract with buzzwords, but the panel wasn't buying any of it. They held her feet to the fire, and she couldn't take the heat. Tyrus was blunt. Kilmeade was stunned. Even Jesse Waters looked baffled at how far off the rails she went. It wasn't a debate. It was a televised dissection. And what made it worse? Crockett probably walked off that set thinking she won. She thought her followers would hail her as a hero. But instead, memes, roasts, and receipts. Online, the fallout was brutal. One meme showed her trying to throw shade at Gutfeld, only to be overs,